Akaveera ako fenga fa abakakolamu oba abantu aba bulijjo bw'okwata akaveera ako n'okasuula mu kkubo oba n'okasuula mu mwala k'osudde mu kkubo kagenda fuumuka kagenda mu nnimiro kajja kutta obutonde bwaffe obw'ensi.
When you look at Kavera, I tend to encounter Kavera at my workplace at the point of rubbish. And the biggest impact I get is for anybody who say it hits my pocket. That's in terms of money. And why this in one way or another gets to me is that it is taxpayers' money. I'm in this office, in the trust, I keep it in trust for the taxpayers. And I'm supposed to spend every dollar as rationally as possible. Now, I see myself spending up to, when you look at what I spend to sweep the city, what I spend to collect the rubbish, it's up to 14 billion shillings. Now, I'm spending 14 billion shillings of taxpayers' money on something that ideally, for no other word, are bad habits. So what has been my encounter is that how do you reverse those bad habits? But how do you also be able to use this money rationally? And that's the story of Kavera. So I'll see it in terms of when I'm collecting the rubbish. Worst case scenario, because my other job is that I manage the city abattoir. I oversee the city abattoir. So how many animals do die because they have eaten Kavera? What has the farmer lost? He would have gotten 2 million shillings, but the animal has died because of Kavera. So look at the cycle from purchase at a supermarket or when you're buying a Rolex, right to when you dispose it. Then I have to collect, I need to dispose, and to the other hand, I see the effects when it is not collected, or it is probably in a garden, or it is somewhere where somebody has taken his animals for grazing.
What's the biggest challenge in Kampala? You know, Kampala, because of the nature, it's habitable, it has so many slums. It is, some people call it a big slum city. So I have noticed that the way people manage solid waste is very, very important. It has impacted us in that much of the waste, the solid waste, is indiscriminately disposed. It's not collected and disposed in an organized manner. Now, some of this waste is biodegradable. For example, if you're talking about banana peelings, you are talking about anything which is biodegradable, we can decompose. However, for the plastics, the challenge you have is that they do not decompose. Okay, so you know, plastic will take so many years. Actually, it will not decompose completely. Now, the challenge we have is that because most of this solid waste is not properly disposed, it's not collected and disposed, it finds its way into most of our drainage channels. And by doing so, it is able to block and hinder the free flow of water. You know, water will always find its its way. So if it finds if it comes in, if along its way it encounters solid waste, I mean the plastics, it certainly will not be able to continue flowing. For example, in the culverts, if there are so many, they are not decomposing, they are not able to move, so they will block the culvert. Now, when they block the culvert or the drainage structure, finally water will find its own level. It finds itself on the road. It is able to pond and flood. Some of these places you see flooding is because water is not able to flow. It's not able to flow because most of the drainage channels are being blocked by plastics.
In case umwana yakamira nabasa kufuna obuzibu oba embuzi yakarya nefa entenkejo yakarya tekabura kufa fos bwenu kine kirungi na nekibi konka kandi ebi bintu byo ndukurebira inke byinja habo kuba ninkakozesa omurundi gumwe nkatwara hinaka na gato kahabasa kwamanya nakanago mu rutoke nkorwe urutoke ndufuna obuzibu no bawashisha obutonde bwensi mwene okutwaliza hamwe akaveera ko tikalungi.
Woveera nga woobulaba muyinza okulowooza nti nno kano akaveera nyinza okukakozesa kubanga weekali kabeerawo, naye kyokola nga ggwe omuntu waliwo wookola n'ogamba nti nno omwana wange oba mukolere ki? Gw'ogenda kukola emaali omwana wo mugambe nti nno omugulira akataka akasange wanaakula, naye wadde omugulidde akataka ako n'ogenda n'otandika okukozesa obuveera bw'okozesa awo, oyinza okufa nga n'omwana w'akataka tannabakafunako oba ne ssente nga tonawazifuna. Ba obuveera bw'okozesa wano bw'okozesa okufumba amatooke, kubanga olaba nti amatooke gatandika omuliro ogenda kuleega akaveera ako, ebikemikozi biveemu, gwe naye gwe togenda bbira, naye abantu b'oweeyo emmere bagenda kulwala bafe kansa. Omuntu yenna amanya nti n'omuntu bw'obeera ng'olwadde kansa, ssente ezigenda okuva mu nsawo okulabira omulwadde mpitirivu nnyo, naye kyatandika ku ki? Ku kaveera k'oguze mmeka? Maybe 1,500 oba 500.
Even in your own home, like the collectors, some of these private companies, I think they also need to educate the guys who come to collect. Because for them, when they come, they just want to collect waste. Plastics and biodegradables together. But if they can also come up with a way whereby you can be able to ensure that you only pick what is being sorted. So if it is for biodegradables, it's biodegradable. For plastics, it's plastics. You can come with different bins, It is very simple, this is red or this is green or this is blue. So within our own selves, even from where we come from, we need to do that. We shall speak to our people, but if it is entrenched, sometimes the way people behave. Someone is driving a Porsche, I've already told you, and is throwing out a plastic bottle. Then you wonder, you're driving a Mercedes of 300 million? Why would you be doing that? So I think it should go back to our own policing, internally speaking to each other. Some of these people do these things just because they think no one is looking. But once they realize somehow it's going to be embarrassing, to a way like sometimes I've seen on Twitter, someone is saying that this guy was throwing plastic bottles in a car. So you say, oh, wait a minute. So you're a high profile person in society and they're talking about you indiscriminately throwing a plastic bottle. So it doesn't help. So whereas we can talk about the collection and disposal, but even us, it starts from the source. How we manage the waste problem, right? Its source. I think for me that will go a long way in improving and ensuring that we get most of the plastics off the streets and away from our drains.
Nti tuteme empenda oba tutekewo solution yonna okulaba nga akaveera kafaako tuyine ng'ejje tukakavalinga okubanga tekamasuka agenda mu butonde. Government yanitaddewo nnyo containers ezigenda mu kasasiro, like bamuyita kasasiro, nti omuntu wakwata akaveera ako wabeerewo etteeka omuntu talina kukwata akaveera kamansula. Omuntu bamuwadde wali ekintu mu supermarket abasinga balina enkola bali mu mmotoka n'akakasuka eri. So tutekewo empenda ekulanga obuveera tumasula. Containers, government ayongera okuteekawo ku containers mu buli division. Tulabe nga tufunza ku mbeera eyo okuba nti akaveera kukamasuka ogenda okutta obutonde.
Listen, we only have one planet, only one that was given to us by. And if you continue going the way we are going, well, we'll have nothing left. I'm talking about pollution. I'm talking about plastic bags. They're everywhere, in our waters, on the land, and they are not biodegradable. We have to fight it. Do your best.
As a journalist, I've covered stories across this entire country, from Moroto to Kisoro, from Lake Choga to Mbale, literally everywhere. And what I've noticed is that Kavera is littered everywhere. So our environment is sinking in Kavera.
As a mother, I worry so much about the impact of our plastic pollution on the future generations. Buli lwenda bakavera ketumansa everywhere. Mu nsuku zaffe, mu makubo bwetuyita, everywhere obuveera tubujajamiza nnyo. Ne neebuuza singa tewabaawo kye tukolawo abaana baffe mu maaso eyo banaabeerawo batya ng'emmere tekyabala, ebisolo byaffe tebikyalina we birya kubanga obuveera bwonoonye obutonde.
Caring people, if we don't stop using Kavera, shops, supermarkets, marketplaces won't stop purchasing or distributing these Kaveras. Join us to fight for our environment and stop using Kaveras.
Now that we know the Kavera is a huge problem to our environment, let's involve the youth, let's involve our children in the fight to stop pollution of our environment. Join us and let's do this together.
So leka tuveeyo ngafe abantu bonna mugenda kumbuuza nti tukole ki, waliwo ebintu bye tusobola okukozesa naye kyetumanyi nti nno akaveera akondooza leka tukaveeko twetwali tukole edda nga tukozesa endagala. Nali mmanyi nti wengenda nengula akabalagala nga bamumpa mu ndagala naye enkuze ndi wano kati ffe abaana b'ennaku zino nga lwaki tetukozesa ndagala. Ennaku zino ndaba ndowooza oluwombo obeera ng'oli oluwombo olusinga ki ndowooza chicken ne chips essente. Kati lwaki tetuddayo kubanga abantu abasinga essente basasula mu luwombo ne kabalagala ne Rolex oba ebintu byonna tandise okozesa endagala zaffe weziri wano nnyingi ndowooza buli wogenda ojja kusanga endagala.
Think about it. Whenever you do your shopping, at the local market or the supermarket, if you don't create demand for Kavera, then there will be no need for it. Think about an alternative.
Ekikapu ekyo si kibi kubanga ekikapu wekibanga kizze kijja nekikendeeza ku buveera buno. Obuveera oluusi busukka obungi, buli agula ekintu olaba samukaveera so oluusi singa wabeerawo ow'ekikapu nti ogenda okwekanganga obuveera tugeze 10 bwandifulumye buli lunaku wafulumya obuveera nga 2 ebikapu nebifuluma nga 8. So ekikapu kino si kibi wekibanga kizze kubanga obuveera buno webukendeera obutonde bw'ensi bubeerawo. Obuveera webukendeera ababumansa tebajja kuba bangi.
Ekikapu kiri kiba habw'enshonga nti n'ogarukamu okikozesa. It is very good, actually it is a good idea nti n'ozagarukamu okikozesa nk'akaveera nk'akakora aze kukozesa omulundi gumwe okakanaga akashisha okakanaga omurutookye amiizi wakanaga omurutookye ng'agatakataaho mu itaka mbwenu embeera n'etari nungi atinisiwa n'okozesa kikapu embeera neba noba nozagarukamu okakikozesa n'erizooba na nyenkya kare nabwo atono nikikumarira n'omwaka gwona orukukozesa ekikapu kyawe ekyo kimwe okusinga akaveera akaku wakozesa omurundi gumwe okakana okakanaga embuzi kakashange kakarye kafa ente kakashange kakarye kafa.
Join us. Let's save our environment by stopping using Kaveras.
I'm Gaetano. I choose the kikapu. What's your choice?
I have mine. Do you have yours?
The kikapu is mine. What is yours?